If you are a high performing woman who has built a successful life, the life of your dreams, the career that you love, you may even have transitioned to a career that you love. You've had the babies you've always wanted, or you're about to have them, or even the relationship that you've always dreamt of, the abundance you've always dreamt of. And yet it feels heavy. It feels hard. It feels like the price of it, the cost of achieving those things was really, really high, and you are the only person holding it all together. And you're exhausted, you're getting impatient, you're irritable, you're just in this, I have to keep going, I just have to keep going place. There is a reason for this, and that is that you are not operating in your female, in your divine feminine operating system. You don't yet know how to use feminine energetics, which is a gift from the divine. It's how you were designed to operate. And when you discover that, your next level and everything else that you want in your life, even as it is, can be so much easier for you. And this is really interesting, right? Because the reason we've ended up in this place, well, one of the many reasons, is society and the patriarchy and established religion have taught us that the standardized operating system for all humans is the masculine system. Our entire working day, our calendar is organized to the male system. So men live on this 24-hour system. You know, they are fertile every day. They get tired every day around the same time. Their hormones do in a day what we do over a month. And we're expected to operate like that. And that's just on a physical level. Energetically, it's a whole other ball game. Men are better at operating in the 3D and changing it. You know, that's why they literally have a higher muscle mass because they can go out there and adapt it. They can, if they want to make a piece of furniture, they have the strength to go and, chop the tree down, use the wood, and craft something from it. Women are different. And an easy way of explaining this, this knowledge of feminine energetics and our female operating system it's existed in humanity since the dawn of time. You know, in the UK where I'm from, if you think about places like Stonehenge and Avebury all these beautiful stone formations, when they were first built, they were built to honor the moon, the feminine. The moon is typically seen as the yin in Chinese medicine, the dark, deep, feminine essence. And the yang is the sun and the masculine essence. All these monuments were dedicated to the feminine, to the goddess, to the divine feminine. And then as a society, we had this collective whoosh over to the masculine side, strength, masculine values. These things were became prioritized. Established religion also, worked very hard to suppress the divine feminine, which I think is something we're quite familiar with. Now, no shade to religion. I believe there's good in every religion, but there has been an active movement to suppress this female operating system. And the reason for that is because it's so freaking powerful. Women create, we multiply. So in Hinduism, the concept of the feminine is seen as Shakti. You know, she's intention and energy and alignment. She's dreaming into existence. She's multiplying things that already exist. While Shiva, who's seen as the masculine essence in Hinduism, he is consciousness, he's movement. But without Shakti, he cannot move. And every culture, every tradition historically knows these concepts. We lived these concepts. So, where you have women now operating from a masculine operating system, we can do it, but it comes at a cost. And it comes at a long-term cost, which may be to your health, which may be to your relationships, which may be to how you show up at home. And it might simply be this feeling of, I've got to hold it all together or it's all just going to collapse. The mental load, the organizing, the initiating, the leadership, the emotional containment, the, a desirability that I need to hunt, I need to be sexy. All of this is us in our masculine, operating from a masculine operating system. It's not who you are. It's patterns that you've been taught and that society has indoctrinated in us for a very, very long time. So when you learn how to shift back into your female operating system. And guys, I'm talking about way bigger than working with your cycle. Okay. I'm not here just to say, hey, eat according to your cycle and live according to your cycle, which is fantastic and very relevant. But we are moving beyond that. We are talking about how you use the divine gift of feminine energetics in metaphysics, the laws that govern the universe, to literally create your life with ease. You can have everything that you want in a much easier, less heavy, less exhausting way. And that is what I'm here to teach you. And the reason I'm here to teach you this is because I've done it. You know, from the time I was born, my childhood was about carrying everyone. I was, very much, is it parentalized child? And I was responsible for everyone. I became a very responsible child, young woman, over functioning, extremely independent, extremely successful, valued my success and my self-worth from how I over functioned, how successful I was, how much I delivered. And that made me hugely successful. I had an incredible career in corporate banking. Okay. I had what people would consider as the dream life. Loads of money, travel, freedom, independence. I was very alpha, and that worked for me for a while. But then my health started to suffer. In my masculine energy, that was me in my masculine, overworking, over pushing. I then attracted relationships where if a woman is too much in her masculine, you attract partners who are in their feminine because the male energy needs you to just kind of come back from your masculinity so they can rise. And we then have an epidemic of women who are angry at men for, being too passive and reactive when we are taking up all the space and energy that belongs to them. And I've done that over and over again. And then I fell in love with my true love, my husband, and got married. And then it was, oh, actually, how do we now dance with masculine and feminine? And our marriage has had cycles of this dance changing where we've both had to really learn to navigate when am I too much in my masculine? When am I truly at my feminine? What about the same for him? Because masculine and feminine exists in both male and female. The balance of yin and yang in Chinese medicine exists in all creatures, all beings, all things. So this is also a relevant conversation for men, even though today I'm focused on women. And then I became a mother. The most beautiful thing that could ever happen to me besides falling in love. And I fell again into patterns from my childhood around overfunctioning. And I thought because I was over earning, everything was fine because I had the resources to hide my overfunctioning. I set up my business, I retrained, I set up another business, kept going. And because I was living my passions, I then assumed that you had to work harder than ever. And it completely backfired. When I was in financial services, I did what I needed to do, but I didn't push. I didn't push. I didn't force. Yes, I was alpha and confrontational, but I never killed myself over it. For my dream, I did. I overfunctioned in a different way. For my family, I overfunctioned in a different way. Old patterns that I thought were gone turned up when I became a wife and a mother, more overfunctioning that nearly, ruined my marriage. We nearly got divorced and we had to find our way back. But the way back for me came through these lessons around over functioning. And when I then and pushing and just being in this masculine energy and exhausted and irritable and critical and overwhelmed. And then I learned about this feminine operating system, how we are actually designed to be. And life completely transformed as I unlearned because the female operating system is natural to us. It's like asking, a bird to be a fish. That's what's being asked of women and even men. Your you're a bird. How can you, if you're trying to live as a fish every day, you're going to burn out. Everything's going to blow up. And when all of this was stripped away, I discovered this is how a bird is meant to be. This is my operating system. It doesn't take a lot for a bird to fly. And you can have that too. Whether you're happy with where you are now and you want it to be easier, whether you want to just, you're already successful and you want to hit that next level, but you want it to be less difficult, less exhausting, less resourceful. That is what I teach in feminine energetics. And that is who it is for. So please remember, there is a way for your life to be full of ease and effortless creation. And if this resonates with you, please reach out. We start in 2 weeks on Zoom on the 11th of March. It's 6 sessions, and we're going to completely rewire your operating system. Cheers.